Quotes from John Calvin. From the Kindle, Deep Christian Quotes and Bible Verses. First quote. Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good, and acceptable, and perfect will of God. The great point then, is that we are consecrated and dedicated to God, and, therefore, should not henceforth think, speak, design, or act, without a view to His glory. What He hath made sacred cannot, without signal insult to Him. Second quote. But if we are not our own, but the Lord's, it is plain both what error is to be shunned, and to what end the actions of our lives ought to be directed. We are not our own, therefore, neither is our own reason or will to rule our acts and counsels. We are not our own, therefore, let us not make it our end to seek what may be agreeable to our carnal nature. We are not our own, therefore, as far as possible, let us forget ourselves and the things that are ours. On the other hand, we are God's, let us, therefore, live and die to Him. Romans 14:8. We are God's, therefore, let His wisdom and will preside over all our actions. We are God's, to Him, then, as the only legitimate end, let every part of our life be directed. Third quote. For as the surest source of destruction to men is to obey themselves, so the only haven of safety is to have no other will, no other wisdom, than to follow the Lord wherever He leads. Let this, then be the first step, to abandon ourselves, and devote the whole energy of our minds to the service of God. By service, I mean not only that which consists in verbal obedience, but that by which the mind, divested of its own carnal feelings, implicitly obeys the call of the Spirit of God. Fourth quote. This transformation, which Paul calls the renewing of the mind, Romans 12:2, and Ephesians 4:23, though it is the first entrance to life, was unknown to all the philosophers. They give the government of man to reason alone, thinking that she alone is to be listened to. In short, they assign to her the sole direction of the conduct. But Christian philosophy bids her give place, and yield complete submission to the Holy Spirit, so that the man himself no longer leaves, but Christ lives and reigns in him. Galatians 2:20. Fifth quote. To make intercession for men is the most powerful and practical way in which we can express our love for them. Sixth quote. The gospel is not a doctrine of the tongue, but of life. It cannot be grasped by reason and memory only, but it is fully understood when it possesses the whole soul and penetrates to the inner recesses of the heart. Seventh quote. Man's nature, so to speak, is a perpetual factory of idols. Eighth quote. The whole world is a theater for the display of the divine goodness, wisdom, justice, and power, but the Church is the orchestra, as it were, the most conspicuous part of it, and the nearer the approaches are that God makes to us, the more intimate and condescending the communication of His benefits, the more attentively are we called to consider them. Ninth quote. Whomever the Lord has adopted and deemed worthy of His fellowship ought to prepare themselves for a hard, toilsome, and unquiet life, crammed with very many and various kinds of evil. Without the gospel everything is useless and vain. Thanks.